You're listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony.
Welcome back to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We're broadcasting from the Natural Green Lawn and Landscape Studios. We're brought to you by American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency, and Extreme Exteriors. You can count on Extreme Exteriors for expert installation of siding, roofing, soffits, fascia, decks, windows, and more. With their knowledge and experience, they can design the perfect solution to make your home beautiful and energy efficient, saving you maintenance and money for years to come. Call Extreme Exteriors 763-441-1334 and tell them Gene and Tony sent you. It's time to hear from the Community Associations Institute. The CAI Minute is brought to you by New Concepts Rental Management. Whether you're an accidental landlord or a seasoned investor, New Concepts Rental Management can help you achieve your financial goals. New Concepts Rental Management can advise and guide you through every aspect of this business. Call me, Tony Crockett, at New Concepts Rental Management, 952-922-2500.
Are you a volunteer in your homeowner association? Maybe a residential property manager wanting to increase your industry knowledge and obtain professional credentials in property management. Are you a vendor or professional offering services to homeowners and associations or property managers? If you said yes to any one of those questions, then join the Community Association Institute. The CAI is a great organization, helping you be informed and more proficient in your homeowner association board member or property manager role. It's also a great way to network with potential clients. For nearly 40 years, CAI has provided education and resources to volunteer homeowners who govern community associations and the professionals who support them. Visit cai-mn.com to learn more. That's cai-mn.com. The Minnesota chapter of CAI holds monthly managers' luncheons, board member education training, property manager certification training, and much more. It also produces a bi-monthly informative magazine called Minnesota Community Living. Why not join the Community Association Institute today? You can do so online at cai-mn.com and select membership.
So our next story, Gene, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this a letter to the editor?
Yes, it's an editorial that was written originally in Colorado Springs. It was printed in the Washington Times on March 24th.
And it's titled, Self-Governance is the Root of Our Problems.
Yeah. We always hear quite a bit, especially during this time of year when the legislature in every state is in session. And, I mean, how many times do we hear one politician after another wanting to champion the little guy that is in a homeowners association because they think that the politics that take place there with people and how they deal with one another and what people understand and don't understand is somehow a special incident that happens only there
in homeowners association
and not anywhere else. And this guy is making the statement here in his editorial. He said a small community, a homeowner association, reflects the problems of our nation as a whole. And I thought,
it's a great editorial.
Yeah.
He says his community, like many in America, is governed by a homeowners association and a set of covenants. The covenants are designed to maintain the rural nature of our community, to live in harmony with its natural beauty and wildlife. Natural beauty and harmony in a peaceful environment. What could go wrong? And then he goes on to say,
indeed,
people living together in a community is politics.
Yes.
And then he says he thinks whether it's the Constitution of the United States or a set of HOA covenants, our communities, large and small, once were given a set of laws sufficient for self-governance. The problem is we have lost our capacity for self-government.
Exactly.
What do you think about that?
I think that is so well said. When I think of what takes place in an association, and this is the common response that we hear. We have people who always say, those that are in power, those who have been elected as board of directors, somehow the words that are used to describe them are a dictator and
worse,
self-serving, narrow-minded, and
power mongers,
all of that, because they are thinking that just because those people are exercising authority all that they're really saying is they're exercising authority. The person who says that says
Makes
that they're exercising authority that I don't agree with.
Right.
But there are other people in the association that do agree with that person. And you know what? I guarantee you they're not saying that person is power hungry and a dictator.
That's right. He gives some good examples of how we've lost our capacity for self-government. He says after 15 years in his homeowners association, it should have 9 members on the board, but it only has 5. Yeah. How many times have we seen that? I've had boards that can't even meet officially because they never can get a quorum of board members.
Board members, elected, not homeowners, just
right.
Quorum of board members.
Either they can't get them to attend the meetings or they can't even get them all elected. They can't get 3 out of 5 elected. The Covenants Committee in this gentleman's association, which should have 3 members, only has 1. That 1 member is being accused of capriciousness and of being arbitrary.
And that's what happens.
Well, yeah, you've only got 1 guy on the committee. No one else is stepping up to self-govern.
And so then when that one individual asks for a variance and goes before their association and asks for something, they only see that one person representing, and they think, it's a dictatorship.
He's capricious and arbitrary.
When actually no one else was willing to step up.
That's right.
And that's the whole point of this article,
That's right.
and that is governance requires what we're talking about in a free society is self-government. It doesn't mean that it goes on automatic, goes on pilot for some reason.
That's right.
But it takes the continual participation of all members to make it work and work successfully.
That's right. He gives an example of a person who requested a variance at his community. She wanted to raise chickens.
How many times have I heard that?
I have not heard that one very often. She didn't think much of the covenants that are in place at that community because they say she cannot raise chickens. So she was going to the board to ask for a variance. One person at this meeting did stand up and say, you know what, we all agreed to these covenants before we joined this community. Another person said, if you don't like the rules, you have 3 choices. Obey them anyway, seek to have them amended, or move. And I think that's really reasonable.
Those are the words we have said the last 5 years of this show.
That's right. Instead, this woman wants the chickens, and so many people we come in contact with in homeowners associations willfully ignore the rules and then later claim they have some kind of right to do it because they don't like the rule. Now, the rest of us, law-abiding citizens, how does that sit with us?
And that is key because that is what takes place. And I'm going to say 8 times out of 10, when there is an issue with a homeowner, they're usually brought to the board after the fact.
After they've violated the regulation.
And that's what happened here, because in this particular question of chickens, it says that she had decided that she wanted chickens and she kept them regardless of the rules. But somebody found out. Somebody else noticed and said, hey, wait a minute, this isn't right. And so now the board is being brought, asking her to come and have a discussion after the fact.
Right.
And this somehow is supposed to be dictatorial? I don't think so.
And she has the attitude so many people have. I don't like the rules, so I shouldn't have to abide by it. Doesn't matter what I signed when I purchased here. It doesn't matter what I agreed to as a member of this association. I'm special. I don't have to follow the rules.
People think that the rules are for everybody else but themselves.
Well, they think that the rules they like are for everybody, but the rules they don't like shouldn't apply to them. It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Yes, it is. In this particular case, I would like to say that here we have, again, a situation where this is an association not unlike so many that we know and take care of and help in managing. And it's the case that most associations find themselves working hard at seeking to try and find another person to serve on the board because there aren't enough people who will give of their time and be interested enough. But yet, after the after that's all said and done, then they don't like any of the rules or decisions that were made by other people who were willing to step up where they weren't.
I really liked this paragraph where he said, willfully ignoring the rules and then later claiming some kind of right to do so doesn't sit well with law-abiding citizens. This meeting, a couple of people stood up and said, hey, you agreed to this. You should abide by this. That's why we have the democratic processes, so that we all know what to expect and we all live to a certain standard. If my neighbor gets to violate the rules, that makes me mad and makes all the other neighbors mad. I don't see why these members that are in non-compliance, why they don't see that.
Yeah,
that they're pitting themselves against their whole community. They always think of it as I'm pitting myself against the evil authorities on that board.
Well, I tell you what, let's take a quick break here, and when we come back, we're going to wrap up this topic of self-governance. Do you agree? Have we lost our capacity for self-government? I sure hope not. But we'll take a break now, and we'll be back with more Where You Live after these messages.